easier to follow. So before we start, I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite tactics, or the ones I heavily employed during my examination or my assessment. So, how do you approach the passage? I bet a lot of you are having this revelation or this question. How do I approach the passage? Do I read everything first and then do I go to the questions? And then whenever the questions ask me to go back, I'll go back. Or do I go to the questions first, see where they are, try to answer them without reading, without any context, and then just go like that? Or do I do like a fusion of those techniques, right? So what I did, by all means, I have not created this technique. I've actually I've adopted it from one of my friends who's gotten a 1580 on the exam. Extremely smart individual. But he told me this technique, and my cousin also uses technique. Amazing. But then again, everyone has different ways or different perspectives as to approaching a passage, right? You might want to read everything first. You might have a better idea, or just whatever you want to do. But I'd say this one was really helpful for me. So I'm going to introduce you guys to this one. So the idea behind this, or behind my tactic, is that I break the passage into sections. Okay. So what I mean by that is that I read one section at a time, and then I go to the questions, answer the questions that are related to that one section that I cut off. And then once I'm done that, I go to the second section, answer the question from the second section, and then third section. So what I mean by that is that if you guys haven't realized yet, all the questions on the SAT, they're in chronological order, right? So College Board makes your job really easy, right? When it comes to finding questions, they start with the questions, or they really start with the main idea question, but you can skip those. But they start with the questions relating to like the first few sentences or the first passages, and then they go chronologically all the way to the end, right? So you have to take advantage of that. Now that you know that, you want to take advantage of that. So what I mean by section, so what do I mean by that? So I don't know if you can see that, but I've created a line here. You see this line? So every two passages, I stop reading and then I go to the questions and then see which questions I can answer based on what I've read so far, right? So let's say the first two passages is the first section. The second two passages, so lines 35 through 65, let's say that's the second section. And let's say this last one is the third section. So when it comes to social and science passages, or social science and science passages, one thing you need to know is that typically what happens is that first passage, they introduce a phenomenon, right? They introduce a conception or a misconception, or they introduce a scientific finding or something related to that. Then in the passage that follows, they give you context, and then they're going to give you, or then they're going to provide a hypothesis for the context, and then they're going to progress and provide an experiment for you, and then they're going to analyze the experiment, and then finally they're going to be having future implications or future applications of the findings of the experiment, right? So that's typically how it goes. So the last passage typically talks about how it can be used in the future, or an expert's analysis on the findings of your specific experiment, right? But that's for typically science passages, not necessarily social science passages, right? Because science, I don't think here they gave you like a very definitive experiment, right? But typically in science passages, they're going to give you like a lengthy two paragraph experiment defining all the variables, the dependent variables, the independent variables, what they measure, things like that, right? But that's enough of me blabbering. And then this is the third section down here, right? Let's leave this last passage at the third section. The second one I talked to you about earlier are actually I'll introduce those as we encounter them. First, let's start reading. So questions 11 through 21 are based on the following passage and supplementary material. The passage is adapted from Francis J. Flynn and Gabrielle S. Adams. Money Can't Buy Love, Asymmetric Beliefs About Gift, Price, and Feelings of Appreciation. So obviously they don't give us a blurb, they don't give us context on exactly, but based on the title, you can kind of make out what this is going to be about. Money can't buy love. So asymmetric beliefs that gift, price, and feelings are correlated with feelings of appreciation. All right. Every day, millions of shoppers hit the stores in full force, both online and on foot, searching frantically for the perfect gift. Last year, Americans spent over $30 billion in retail stores in the month of December alone. So, you guys, just one thing to keep in mind: December is a holiday month, right? So a lot of people are going to be spending a lot of money in stores and retail stores to buy their loved ones or their friends gifts, right? So that's why they're in December. Aside from purchasing holidays, so again, they kind of acknowledge that December is a holiday month. Aside from purchasing holiday gifts, most people regularly buy presents for other occasions throughout the year, including weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, and baby showers. This frequent experience of gift giving can engender ambivalent feelings. So, what does ambivalent mean? Ambivalent means mixed feelings, conflicted feelings. They don't, so there's really two-sided to this, right? So, one side might say, oh, it's really nice. And the other side is like, oh, we don't really like gift giving, right? So, let's see what they're trying to say here. Many relish the opportunity. So remember, before they said that it generates ambivalent feelings, right? It generates feelings that some people like it, some people don't, right? So many relish the opportunity to buy more presents because gift giving offers a powerful means to build stronger bonds with one's closest peers. So what does this mean? It means that gift giving provides an opportunity to strengthen the bonds or create a more intimate relationship with a specific individual, right? At the same time, many dread the thought of buying gifts. They worry that their purchase will disappoint rather than delight the intended recipient. So although that some people believe that it is a really nice thing, right? A really nice way to strengthen bonds with another person or a peer of an individual, others think that they might ruin their relation or disappoint them by getting a gift that they would or that the recipient would not like, right? So that's the main idea here. Anthropologists describe gift giving, right? Anthropologists, right? Anthropologists describe gift giving as a positive social process serving various political, religious, and psychological functions. Economists, however, offer a less favorable view. Okay. According to Waldvogel, 1993, gift giving represents an objective waste of resources. So this is the second strategy I'm talking about. So why does the author include some information from another person or from a credible source, right? So let's see how the author structured his paragraph right here. So they say this group of people known as anthropologists, these professionals, think that gift giving is good. Economics, however, or economists, however, offer a less favorable view. So they don't think that gift giving is good. And then they provide a reason why gift giving is not good. So typically when an author says someone or something or someone or a group of people don't like something, they're likely to back it up with empirical evidence from a well-known author or a scientist or a famous figure, right? And that's exactly what happened here, right? So they say economics, however, offered a less favorable view, and then they provide a perspective from an economist, or that's what that's what they're implying here, that Waldvogel is an economist from 1993, or that he published a study in 1993 that goes over why it's a waste of resources, right? So just things to keep in mind, right? So like just connect the dots here. Why is he bringing this Waldvogel guy in, right? Is because he said economists don't think that gift giving is a positive tradition, right? And he provides empirical evidence to strengthen his argument, right? Just things to keep in mind. People buy gifts that recipients would not choose to buy on their own. Okay, wait, let's go back to get a full understanding. According to Waldvogel in 1993, gift giving represents an objective waste of resources. People buy gifts that recipients would not choose to buy on their own, or at least not spend as much money to purchase, a phenomenon referred to as the deadweight loss of Christmas. So again, so what is the deadweight loss of Christmas? The deadweight loss of Christmas is this phenomenon right here. That the idea or the phenomenon that people buy gifts that the recipients would not choose to buy on their own, or that the gift giver spends too much money on something that the recipient himself or herself would not have spent too much money on. So that's the deadweight loss of Christmas. Just keep that in mind. That might pop up a little later. To wit, Givers are likely to spend $100 on a gift that receivers would spend only $80 to buy themselves, right? So people or gift givers are spending a little more money than recipients would themselves, right? This deadweight loss. So remember, we're referring back to this parenthetical citation. I mean, not citation, but parenthetical statement they've added here earlier in line 25, 24 through 25. This deadweight loss suggests that gift givers are not very good at predicting what gifts others will appreciate. So it's kind of like introducing like a lack of perspective here, right? They're saying that givers are buying things that the recipients would not like, right? The people who are receiving the givers are not buying things that the giver or the recipients would like, right? So it says that in itself is not surprising to social psychologists. So they're saying, so these people, social psychologists, another group of professionals, they don't think it's surprising, right? So in a sense that like they think it's expected, right? So keep that in mind. So these people don't think it's surprising. Research has found that people often struggle to take account of others' perspectives. Like I said earlier, these gift givers don't know how to take account of others' perspectives or the recipient's perspectives in this case. Their insight are subject to egocentrism, social projection, and multiple attribution errors. So, what is egocentrism? Basically, for example, if I'm going to pick on someone here, like let's say Alan. Alan wants a Batman game, but like I like Spider-Man games. I fail to take into account that he likes Batman, right? And I buy him a Spider game anyway. So that's what they're trying to say. That I take my perspective, I prioritize my perspective when getting him a gift rather than prioritizing what he would like when I buy him a gift, if that makes sense. All right, that's the end of the first section. Now we're done with this first section that I cut off. Let's go to the question. Let's see what questions I can answer. Question 11 states, the authors, actually, before I start, typically, the first few questions that a science or social science passage, or actually any type of passage, the first few questions are going to be main idea questions, questions that talk about um, the passage as a whole, right? So you want to skip them first because we don't have an idea of the whole passage. We haven't read that yet, right? So skip to the questions that start with the beginning of the passage. So in this case, luckily we don't have any main idea questions or questions that engulf the whole or the entirety of the passage, right? But typically you'll see them. So this is just a rare occurrence. Okay, question 11 states, the authors most likely use the examples in lines 1 through 9 of the passage every ... showers to highlight the what? A, regularity with which people shop for gifts. Okay, so let's read lines 1 through 9. So we go down here. So every day, millions of shoppers hit the stores in full force every day. Every day signals regularity, right? It signals frequency, that it happens a lot of times, right? Both online, on foot, right? So they do it on different platforms. They do it a lot, right? Last year, Americans bought a lot of stuff from retail stores. Aside from purchasing holiday gifts, most people regularly buy presents from other occasions throughout the year, including weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, and baby showers. Actually, before I start going on to that, what do you guys think you guys got for question 11? I want to see what you guys put, because this one was a little tricky. All right, okay, never mind. Because I bet you guys thought D was also a plausible answer as well, right? Because D and A are very similar, but there's one thing that's fundamentally different. But before we get to D, let's go over the other things. Right. So A looks good, right? It talks about the regularity in which people buy or shop for gifts, right? So A is fine. Recent increase in the amount of money spent on gifts. So one thing to keep in mind with the recent increase, you can only talk about recent increase if they provided a different date, right? They don't say like 2 years ago people only spent $15 billion on December, but last year they spent 30 billion, so that's an increase. They're not saying that. They're only giving us one point in time. Last year they spent over $30 billion. They don't give us 2 points, so we can't indicate an increase or decrease. So we can't make that assumption that there has been an increase in money spent in retail stores towards gifts, right? We can't make that assertion. So B is out, right? Because we don't have enough evidence to make that claim. Anxiety gift shopping causes for consumers. So you're providing examples as to why people are anxious to buy to gift shop for other people? No, you're just providing different. You're providing different events in which people would buy gifts. You're not providing areas for anxiety or anxiousness. C's out. D, number of special occasions involving gift giving. So this one was a little tricky. See, A and D seem very well, but you guys obviously are all very smart and very gifted. You guys knew A was our answer. The reason why D is incorrect is because D specializes on the end, right? The last two lines of the 1 through 9. So the questions that ask you about something as a whole, make sure the answer choice cannot be too specific on one aspect of the quote. It has to engulf everything in order to be right. In order to address the question correctly, you must have it so that you engulf everything from lines 1 through 9. The reason why D is incorrect, right? D only talks about from lines what? 7 through 9, right? It's only talking about lines 7 through 9, weddings, birthdays, anniversary, graduation, baby showers. It doesn't take into account from lines 1 through 9. So that's why D is incorrect. It's too narrow. It's too specific. You can't have very, very specific answers for a rather large context that the question is asking you. So for that reason, D is incorrect. Your answer here is going to be A. And for a lot of you, everyone said A. Good job, guys. All right, line 10, the word ambivalent. Remember, I already stated this one out for you guys. What do you guys put for ambivalent or question 12? B? Good. Yep, conflicted, right? Because what does ambivalent mean? Mixed feelings. There's no definitive feelings. They're very controversial. It's very conflicting. B, easy. It's not unrealistic, right? Are we saying that it draws out or elicits unrealistic feelings, like some guy's going to kill someone over this? No, that's pretty unrealistic. I mean, no, I guess that's realistic, but like it's just very outlandish for something very wholesome, I guess. Apprehensive. What does apprehensive mean, guys? Actually, no, you guys might take you some time to type this, but apprehensive means the feeling that something bad is going to happen, like an ominous vibe, right? That's not, yeah, essentially afraid. Yeah, anxious, like something bad is going to happen, right? You have this mindset that something bad is going to happen. Like just link apprehensive with ominous, right? It's like the idea that something bad is going to happen, right? So for that reason, apprehensive is incorrect, right? And supportive, it brings out supportive feelings. That's not true. That's not consistent with the paragraph, right? So it does bring out supportive feelings for the first people, or for the first type of people who think that it's a good idea to for gift giving. However, it doesn't address the second type of people, the people who worry over gift giving, right? And for that reason, D is incorrect. Your answer here is going to be B. The author indicates that people value gift giving because they feel what? I think we can answer this question, right? We discussed this. All right, so this is my second tactic. You guys how many guys have seen these problems before? These linked problems. 13 and 14 are linked, right? Because which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question. So who do you guys struggle with this? Because I'm about to make your life so much easier. Somewhat, yeah. They're very time consuming, right? They're going to take like are they time consuming for you guys? They might not be hard, but are they time consuming? Sometimes, yes. Okay, yeah. So we're having a very. I use the last problem as a guideline. Perfect. Yeah, Alan, that's exactly what you have to do. All right. So some strategists might say it's not a good idea to use the last problem as a guideline, but this is my idea. So this is the way I did it. So we have question 13, right, and then we have question 14. But this is what I do. I cross out all the answer choices for question 13. And I cross out you guys see this, right? And then I cross out the question for number 14. So you guys are probably like, Arian, what are you doing? I'm like, this one I'm going to do. I take the question from question 13, and then I use the answer choices from question 14 to find, to address question 13. So really what it's asking is that the author indicates that people value gift giving because they feel what? And now all you need to do is find the quote that talks about how gift givers feel about gift giving. That's all you got to do now. Because now you made it so easy on yourself. Because now that you found this, now that you can narrow it down to one quote, after you found the correct quote, whatever the quote talks about, that's going to be your answer for number 13, is it not? That's just a way of thinking about it, right? So let's go over it. So question 13 asks, the author indicates that people value gift giving because they feel what? So why do people like gift giving? That is the question here. We need to find a quote that expresses why people will like gift giving. All right. So let's look at answer choice A, 10 through 13. Many relish the opportunity to buy presents because gift giving offers a powerful means to build stronger bonds with one's closest peers. What does it say? It says that people like gift giving, or people respect, or people love gift giving because it gives them the opportunity to create intimate bonds or create a stronger bond with their loved ones. Perfect. It addresses the question number 13, right? It talks about why people like gift giving. A looks really good, right? Let's look at B, 22 to 23. People buy gifts that recipients would not choose to buy on their own, or at least not spend as much money to purchase. Right. So does this have anything to do with, does that have anything to do with why people like gift giving? No, it has nothing to do with why people like gift giving. Exactly, right? It has nothing to do why people like gift giving. It only gives us a fact that is not even related to why. It just talks about why other people, or they fail to understand how much they should spend on something, right? So for that reason, B is out. 31 through 32. I know we haven't got this far. Oh no, we actually have. Let's read anyway. Research has found that people often struggle to take account of others' perspectives. No. It talks about how gift givers fail to take into account people's perspectives. That is not what question 13 is asking. Question 13 is asking, why do people value gift giving? Always keep that in mind. Question 13 is going to be your huge guide here. Remember, the quote is talking about people fail to take into account other people's perspectives. The question is asking, find a quote that talks about why people like gift giving. Simple as that. Make your life as simple as possible, right? C is not going to be correct. C is incorrect. 44 through 47. I know we didn't get this far, but let's read it anyway. Actually, in order to get some context, let's just read from 39. In present research, we propose a unique psychological explanation for this overspending problem, i.e. that gift givers equate how much they spend with how much recipients will appreciate the gift. Although a link, 44 through 47, they said, right? Although a link between gift price and feelings of appreciation might seem intuitive to gift givers, such an assumption may be unfounded. Does that talk about why people like gift giving? No. D is incorrect. Your answer here is going to be A. Now that we got our quote, right? Now that we know why people appreciate gift giving, or at least where in the passage they talk about why people appreciate gift giving, now we can answer the question. So let's see what they say in lines 10 through 13. Many relish the opportunity to buy presents because gift giving offers a powerful means to build stronger bonds. Simple. It provides a way to strengthen bonds. So which one talks about that? Function as a form of self-expression? Evidence the contrary. You're not supposed to do that. Gift givers are actually unconscious to that, right? They don't mean to buy gifts that they would like for their friends, right? They don't mean to do that. That's kind of an unconscious drive. A is not correct. Is an inexpensive way to show appreciation. It doesn't talk about an expensive way, and actually evidence the contrary. People spend more money, gift givers spend more money than the actual recipient. B is incorrect. C, it requires a gift recipient to reciprocate. No, it doesn't talk about reciprocation at all. The answer here is going to be D. Can serve to strengthen a relationship. Good job. All right. So now we have social psychologists. So remember, we talked about social psychologists. The social psychologist mentioned in paragraph 2, lines 17 to 34, would likely describe the dead weight loss phenomenon as what? Guys, what did you guys put for number 15? Good. Yep, predictable. Perfect. Why do you guys think it's predictable? What did I circle on this that makes it so that that conveys that perfect, it's not surprising, right? This is going to guide us to our answer. If something's not surprising, it's expected. And when something's expected, it's not predictable. Oh, wait, no, it is predictable. My bad. It is predictable. If something expected is predictable. Answer is going to be A. Not questionable. It's not questionable. They don't question that, right? Disturbing. They never said it's disturbing. They're kind of predicting this, right? They say that it's not surprising. They already know this. Unprecedented evidence to the contrary. They know this is true. They knew that this was going to happen. They didn't think it was surprising. They were kind of expecting it. Unprecedented means that it was surprising. No. Answer is going to be A. All right, now we have to go to the second section, because now from question 16 onwards is going to be talking about lines 41 through 44 and then above that, right? Or past that. Now let's go to the second section. What is surprising is that gift givers have considerable experience acting as both gift givers and gift recipients, but nevertheless tend to overspend each time they set out to purchase a meaningful gift. So although that these gift givers have a lot of experience being both the gift giver and the gift recipient, they still don't learn from their mistake about spending too much money. They still have not affiliated this cost for money does not equate to more love towards a gift. That's what the author is trying to say here, is that gift givers still do not know that the more they spend does not correlate to the more a person will like the gift. That's what they fail to do. In the present research, we propose a unique psychological explanation for this overspending problem. So now they have this research, and then they have this proposed explanation as to why they do this, i.e., for example, that gift givers equate how much they spend with how much recipients will appreciate giving. So what I mean by that, you guys probably already know this, but I'm going to write it down anyway. So the more money I spent, so this is what the people are saying, or this is what the gift givers are saying. The more money I spend, the more the person is going to appreciate me, right? I don't know how to draw a heart, right? So the more I spend, the more people will love me. Incorrect, right? That's what they're trying to say, right? So they say spend with how much money or how much recipients will appreciate gift. The more expensive the gift, the stronger the gift recipient's feeling of appreciation, like I just said, right? Although a link between gift price and feelings of appreciation might seem intuitive, so although it might seem instinctive, that might seem like it's kind of like expected, or like kind of like I guess you can say expected. Yeah, common sense. Yeah. Although it might seem like common sense, such an assumption may be unfounded. Guys, what does unfounded mean? You're going to be seeing like stuff like that. What does unfounded mean? Wrong? Yeah, wrong. Wrong might seem a little too blunt, but unfounded, essentially, yes, not much evidence support, right? Unreasonable, right? It's not backed up by empirical evidence in order to make that assumption. You can't make that assumption by without empirical evidence or research, right? That's basically what the author is saying, is that this assumption is false because there is no evidence to back it up. Good job, guys. Indeed, we propose that gift recipients will be less inclined to base their feelings of appreciation on the magnitude of a gift than givers assume, right? So they're saying that the gift recipients don't associate cost with how much they appreciate with the gift, or how much they appreciate the gift. Why do gift givers assume that gift price is closely linked to the gift recipient's feelings of appreciation? Perhaps givers believe that bigger, more expensive gifts convey stronger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So they're providing like a rhetorical question. So why do they think this? And then they're providing an example as to why they think this, or providing an explanation as to why they think this. According to Kammerer, 1988. Okay, so guys, what do we remember from last time? Remember the author talked about this Walfogen dude in in passage or paragraph 2. Why is he talking about who's this Kammerer guy? Why did the author add Kammerer? What is he trying to do now that he's adding this other famous scientist? What do you guys think Kammerer is going to say about the author's explanation towards this? Is he going to support it? Is he going to reject it? Exactly, support a conclusion. Perfect, right? That's exactly what he's trying to do here. He adds the support from other scientists to bolster his argument, right? So he's adding this guy to support the claim that was made prior to the introduction of the scientist, right? So Kammerer, likely based on the structure, are we on 16? Yes, we're on 16, but we're going through the passage right now. So the scientist will likely provide an explanation as to why, or provide an insight on this quote right here. Perhaps givers believe that bigger gifts convey stronger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. And then he provides a scientist, right? So he talks about that. Okay, so according to Canberra 1988 and other gift giving represents a and others, gift giving represents a symbolic ritual whereby gift givers attempt to signal their positive attitudes towards the intended recipient and their willingness to invest resources in a future relationship. So this is providing a rather more specific so obviously what the author provided earlier was kind of vague, right? They're saying that bigger gifts equal more love, right? But Cameron is kind of going into more detail and kind of refining this hypothesis, right? He's saying that whereby gift givers attempt to signal their positive attitudes towards their intended recipient and their willingness to invest resources in a future relationship. In this sense, gift givers may be motivated to spend more money on a gift in order to send a stronger signal. So this is Cameron's point of view, right? He's saying that people spend more money to send a stronger signal to the intended recipient, right? As for gift givers, they may not construe smaller and larger gifts as representing smaller and larger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So what did we learn from this? Gift givers think, what do gift givers think? They think that more money is associated with more love, which is false. This is a fallacy. We know that because the authors and the scientists say that is incorrect. What do the gift recipients say? The gift recipients say that there is no correlation between these two things. More money does not necessarily mean more love, right? Or less money does not mean less love. There's no correlation between the two. So that's what the gift recipients are saying. So let's say these dollars are not equal to love, right? Or they're not correlated with love, right? It's not like a linear it's not like a linear graph where the more money you spend, the more appreciation you're going to get from someone, right? So those are the two main takeaways you want to get out from this, right? So the passage indicates that the assumption made by the gift givers in line 41 through 44, guys, what's the answer here? Based on the explanation provided. Oh, what's the answer here, guys? Don't be shy. I'm not going to yell at you. Oh, we're having mixed answers. Oh, this is interesting. All right. Oh, this is going to be interesting. All right. So we know for a fact that's not A and D. Right? It's not insincere, nor is it substantiated. Those are very inappropriate answer choices. So we're left with unreasonable and incorrect. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Let's debunk this. So actually, fortunate enough is that we're given question 17 is another evidence question. So let's go over these first. Let's see which ones that question 16 addresses for the answer choices for number 17. So lines 53 to 55. So we have to say why the passage indicates that the assumption made by gift givers. So we have to find a quote that talks about the assumption made by gift givers. Right? So let's see. 53 to 55, I'm blanking out. Perhaps givers believe that bigger gift conveys stronger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So does that really talk about why oh wait, no. Let me rephrase that. So it's saying, so this third party, the author is saying, that perhaps people think that, or the gift givers think that the more I spend, the more love I'll get, right? So he's providing what they think. He's not providing as if it's wrong or if it's unreasonable or if it's whatever, right? So A is kind of like a two-step, right? We need to have more information to make a justifiable definitive answer conclusion. So that for that reason, A is incorrect. B, 55 through 60. According to Cameron and others, gift giving represents a symbolic ritual whereby gift givers attempt to signal their positive attitudes toward their intended recipient and their willingness to invest resources in a future relationship. Right. So again, this is another fact. Right. This is just a continuation off of B. He's just getting another guy saying as to why as to why gift givers think this specific way, but they don't talk about, or the author or this guide or the scientists, they don't talk about if this conclusion that the gift givers make is right or wrong. We need to find a quote that states if the gift givers or ideology or mindset is incorrect or not. That's what we're looking for here. 63 to 65. So let's finish reading this real quick. So it says, in this sense, gift givers may be motivated to spend more money on a gift in order to send a stronger signal to their intended recipient. As to gift recipients, they may not construe smaller and larger gifts as representing smaller and larger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So what is it saying? It's saying that gift givers think that more money is equal to more love, but gift recipients don't think that's the case. So now that we think that they're not the case, what does that mean? So if one thing is not lining up with another person's perspective, it is what? Incorrect. So for those of you who have picked incorrect, good job, right? So I'll go on to explain why unreasonable is incorrect. So we have our evidence, right? Again, let's just go over 75 through 78 just to make sure that everything's all good. In theoretical terms, people fail to utilize information about their own preferences and experiences in order to produce more efficient outcomes in their exchange relations. So they're saying, this quote is saying that people fail to take in account of others' perspectives. This is not what they're talking about. We're talking about the relation between money and money and gifts, or money and association with love, right? So why is it not unreasonable? Why is it not unreasonable? The reason why it's not unreasonable is because here it blatantly says that it's incorrect, right? It does say, it actually, no, if for anything, it doesn't say it's unreasonable. Evidence to the contrary. They say that it is reasonable, right? Because the people here, right, they're saying Kammerer and the author is saying that it is reasonable because they think that these signals, or that these gifts, if they spend more money, they will, if they spend more money, it will construe or elicit more thoughtful behavior, right, or more love, and that's not the case. So they do expect it, right? They think it is reasonable because they predicted it, right? It's not unreasonable. It's reasonable because they even said it was intuitive up here, right? They said it was intuitive. It was like kind of reasonable, but it was incorrect, right? So for that reason, C is the correct answer here. All right. As it is used in line 54, this is going to be pretty quick now. These are just very definitive, easy questions. Line 54, what is the definition of convey? Guys, what does convey mean in this case? Communicate. Perfect. Yep, it means communicate, right? Perhaps gift givers believe the bigger the gift, it conveys stronger signals. It communicates. It sends bigger signals to the recipient. We're not transporting. This is not like really a tangible object, right? We're not transporting anything. We're communicating it with a person. Counteract is kind of like a reaction. Not what we're looking for. Exchange, not exchange, because when you convey something, you're trying to communicate. It's like kind of like a one-way type of relationship here. However, exchange is like when you're exchanging things. Like it's kind of like a Secret Santa type of thing, right? If here's going to be D. Question 19. The authors refer to work by Kammerer and others in order to what? So what did I say about the quotes? Why are they adding these people into the text? Why is the author bringing in these well-known scientists into the text? What is he trying to do here? Is he trying to offer an explanation, introduce an argument, question a motive, or support a conclusion? Oh, we think it's D. Oh, interesting. Support a conclusion. Okay. Okay, so we know for a fact it's not B or C, so we're having some mixed up. So I told you this passage is going to be a little hard, guys. So is it offer an explanation or support a conclusion? So what is the primary purpose? What is he doing here exactly? Right? He's saying, according to Kammerer 1988 and others, gift giving represents a symbolic ritual. He's providing an explanation as to why as to why gift givers feel this way. He says, according to Cameron and others, gift giving represents a symbolic ritual whereby gift givers attempt to signal their positive attitudes towards the intended recipient and their willingness to invest resources in a future relationship. He's providing an explanation as to why gift givers do what they do. That is exactly what's happening here. He's not really supporting a conclusion. He's not like deriving a conclusion from a finding. He's just simply putting a very unbiased, right? An unbiased explanation on what's happening. So when scientists provide an explanation, it's going to be unbiased. It's not going to be one-sided. He's trying to provide information. That's all he's trying to do. He's providing an explanation as to why gift givers act the way they do. That is the primary purpose as to why he's there, right? That's why A is going to be your correct answer. And that's why D is incorrect. Because he's not really supporting a conclusion, right? Although it might seem that way, he's not really doing that. That's not the primary reason why he's there. He's there to offer an explanation. He's there to explain why gift givers do what they do, right? And that's spending more money in order to elicit more love. All right, so these are the graph questions. Oh, right. Forgot. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Let's finish this last thing, or this last piece of text, and then we'll move to the graphs. The notion of gift givers and gift recipients being unable to account for other party perspectives seems puzzling because people slip in and out of these roles every day, and in some cases multiple times in the course of the same day. So the author is saying that it's kind of weird that people are unable to take into account other people's perspectives, since they do it on a very daily basis and they're doing it very frequently. Why can't they alter their perspective to prioritize the recipient's perspective as to their own? Yet, despite the extensive experience that people have as both gifters and receivers, they often struggle to transfer information gained from one role as a giver and apply it into another role, a complementary role as a receiver. In theoretical terms, people fail to utilize information about their own preferences and experiences in order to produce more efficient outcomes in their exchange relations. So he's saying that gift givers fail to take into account other people's perspectives. In practical terms, people spend hundreds of dollars each year on gifts, but somehow never learn to calibrate, why did I say calibrate their gift expenditures according to personal insight. Right. So I'd say it's a pretty good passage. So again, it's not really concerning, or what the text we just read does not concern the last two questions, but it's good to keep in mind. Actually, no, it does concern question number 21, but we'll get to that. Question 20. The graph following the passage offers evidence that gift givers base their predictions of how much a gift will be appreciated on what. So let's see the graph. So what do the givers think about their gift? So let's see what the graph is measuring first. So we have givers and recipients. We're concerned about givers because that's kind of what we're looking at. So mean appreciation, right? So what does that mean? How much the recipient will actually like the gift, or that's what the givers are predicting, right? So this more bold option is the less expensive gift, while the more beige option is the more expensive gift. So givers think that the more expensive the gift, the more the people will like it, right? So this is what they think. That is equal to that, right? However, the less someone spent on a gift, the less the person will like it. That's what the giver, that's the giver mindset. Now let's see which ones address, or which ones take into account the information I just applied. So the graph following the passage offers evidence that gift givers, based on their predictions on how much a gift will be appreciated on what. So we extracted a definitive pattern here. They're saying the more you spend on a gift, the more they'll appreciate, and the less they spend on a gift, the less they'll appreciate it. Meaning that monetary value correlates the how much it is appreciated. Perfect, right? It's monetary value, right? It's not the appreciation level of the gift recipients. We don't care about the gift recipients. That's not what we're measuring here. Monetary value means the amount of money spent on a certain gift. C says their own desires for the gift they purchase. No, we're not measuring their own desires on the gift they purchase. That's kind of like an unconscious drive, right? C cannot be right. and D, their relationship with the gift recipient. Again, we're not measuring the gift recipient. That's not what the graph is measuring. The graph is measuring the assumptions that the givers will make based on how much money they spend on a top or on something, right? On an item. That's why your answer is going to be B. Last question. The author would likely attribute the differences in gift giving or gift giver and recipient mean appreciation as represented in the graph to what? So why do, so as you can see here, recipients don't associate this. They don't associate less expensive gifts and more expensive gifts the way givers do, right? They think, some people thought the less expensive gift, they like the less expensive gift more, but they didn't like the more expensive gift as much as the givers thought they would, right? So why is this? It's because the givers fail to change their perspective, right? So where does it say that? If you read the last passage, it says, yet, despite the extensive experience that people have as both givers and receivers, they often struggle to transfer information gained from one role and apply it to another complementary role. In theoretical terms, people fail to utilize information about their own preferences and experiences in order to produce more efficient outcomes in their exchange relations. And in addition to this information or this evidence, we also find that, where does it say it? They failed. Okay, look, researchers, let me actually get rid of all of this. So look, it says right here, research has found that people often struggle to take account for other people's perspectives. Right? Exactly. Your answer is going to be A. Inability to shift perspective. They don't change their perspective, and for that reason, the givers don't, or the recipients don't like it as much as they make it out to be, right? An increasingly materialistic culture, no. Materialistic culture is like kind of like material, right? So no, not really. It's not like intangible items. That's not correct. And growing opposition to gift giving. Does it ever talk about a growing opposition, like so like a movement against gift giving? Like that's no longer a tradition. We don't like gift giving anymore. No. A misunderstanding of intentions. No, that's a little too wide. We need to be a little more narrow with our answer choice. An inability to shift perspective is your right answer. And that is how you do SAT test 1